So, let me make sure we're recording. Okay, we're recording. So as you can see, we reached the end of our our opener. I have to admit, they've kind of caught me. They've established the premise, they've established the main characters, and they've established the initial villain. And it looks like, based on what I'm seeing, fingers crossed, we'll have a lot of continuity, aka what I like to call string continuity, large story arcs across multiple episodes across a season, which is how I prefer television. I think that's the nicest way I could put that. It's my preference, and it always has been. So, woo, maybe, hopefully. Sidekicks! They call them sidekicks again. What the hell? But anyway, so they introduce the light with the incredibly terrifying voices of Miguel Fuhrer, who voices one of them. Quick aside. I'm watching on Amazon. That's how I usually watch this kind of stuff. And so they have little anecdote stuff on the side, like who's playing what role, or little general trivia, that kind of stuff. So as a curiosity, I was like, is that Miguel Fuhrer? So I mouse over to see, and it is! And he's playing L1. Now, by the time this video goes live, I will have finished the episodes, and, there's nothing left to spoil. But I find it interesting that someone went out of their way to list their roles as L1 and L3 and so forth, just to make sure that nobody would be spoiled by a cast listing, which is a problem that's happened in the past. Nice touch. Anyways. So, I like a lot of the character dynamics that are already starting to unfold here. I like how naturally, without even trying, Wally and Grayson both just kind of are naturally nice to Soups, right? He has done this. What? I said he, not it, which is immediately followed by Desmond calling him an it. And they're like, why does he get to call him an it? Now, there's this bit where he's walking away and Aqualad starts talking to him. This is actually pretty clever, because Superboy can hear him. Of course he can, assuming he has at least a fraction of Superman's hearing, right? So it makes sense that he can literally hear him talking in a normal volume, through a door, behind the screams and electricity, several dozen feet away. That is very logical. So it makes sense that Aqualad would do that to turn him. What I also like is how weirdly sensical it is that the mind control would break under such a force of will. Now, it requires the external force. The human mind in general tends to follow a repeating loop pattern until something external introduces a new idea to it. This is one of the reasons why, for us as human beings to develop, we pretty much need external influences. We need experiences, and we need to interact with other fellow sentient sapient beings, right? That's how we develop. Now, I'm bringing this up because it makes perfect sense that the mind control would be breakable from the introduction of an external force, because it's not true mind control. It's not, Chakong, you are under the command of the Lich King. No. It's more like a suggestion mind control. I'm going to make you think this, and then until something gets in the way, I'm just going to keep thinking this, because it's the natural tendency, right? It is also already shown, and they already showed their work on this in episode 1, that the mind control wanes. They have to continuously reestablish the mind control. He keeps doing that over Guardian, for example. They have to keep doing that, otherwise it just fades. They start to think for themselves, right? So in short, it makes sense that between the way that it's not full mind control and the fact that after it's cast, it starts to fade immediately, that he would be able to break out under the circumstances. So I was with that, because usually when fiction has someone break out of mind control, they just do it through sheer willpower, which kind of irritates me, if I'm being honest. So then we see, they go to escape. Superboy obviously has some serious rage issues, which is, I'm just picturing it's going to be a trend right now. I don't blame him. He's been through some crap. And he can't fly. Superman can fly. Why can't I fly? Now, this is pretty much the moment where I was like, okay, there's his initial character arc. He's going to be comparing himself alongside Soups, and that's probably not going to go well, because as is already shown, he is not Soups. I already theorized on this last episode, and now we're already being shown he is not at the same level at all. A quick aside, by the way. I know that not everyone likes snarking when it comes to comedy or approach. I happen to enjoy a good snark myself, although I am a little picky of it. I've been enjoying Nightwing's snarking. That is to say, Grayson's snarking. Robin at the moment. I've been enjoying his snarking for the most part, so totally with it. So then Desmond goes to unlock Project Blockbuster. Yeah, I guess that explains that one. So they get up, and we find out that Double X is the only reason they've been able to get this far. They would all probably be dead if not for Double X. Okay. So, I'm curious what he's after. He's obviously being listed here as some kind of long-term thing. And I don't think he's the same character threat as the light threat. I think he's something else. It'll be interesting to see how and if that develops in the future. But what I like most is the question he asks Superboy is exactly the question Superboy needs. What is your choice? Because Superboy has already shown he's probably not going to be the team player. He's probably going to be the new Raphael. But he's probably not going to be a team player. He doesn't take orders well. He doesn't fit in well. And he responds very well to people who are friendly or treat him with respect. Kind of a parallel to the same arc that the three just went through with regards to their initial interactions with the League. And he also calls him brother. So again, he offers him the choice and he embraces him. So it's no wonder that Superboy ends up going the way he does. So then they work as a team for the first time. It's a very brief scene, but at least they do. And we see Robin's true usage in the team. Oh, he's got the tech, and he's got the gadgets, and he's got the know-how. But having a really excellent planner, a tactician, well, that's invaluable. And anybody will tell you, a team that has someone who can really coordinate it and work it together, that is a powerful, very powerful thing right there. It's something that even Final Fantasy 15 had that, right, with Ignis. It's a common concept. It makes sense. You know, you need your squad leader, you need your sergeant. And I'm hoping that's what they're going to do with Robin going forward. I guess we'll see. Either way, they managed to take it out while fighting the Incredible Bulk. I can't believe they went for that one. I also really like, there's a lot of little details I like in this show. Wally and Nightwing going like, high five. Oh, because they're just people, right? They're not. I mean, obviously that Wally has a little bit of super durability, but for the most part, they are nowhere near on the same levels as the others. So they're just they're gonna need some time in recovery after this one. Hey, look, it's the moon. Told you. Can I just say I love Wally? I've always liked Wally. He's in fact probably been one of my. I'd say Wally and Barry are probably my favorite overall Flashes. I kind of flip flop on that one. So I really like what they're doing with Wally here. And hey, it's Superman too, man. Do we keep our promises or what? And then Superboy is like, oh, like the way he holds up his logo, and there's just this, like this lost puppy look on his face, like, and Superman has no idea how to deal with this. I admit it's exactly the expected arc. How much I like or dislike this is going to depend on where they go with it. Because it's obvious that Superboy wants to have that relationship, to have that closeness to Superman. And Superman has no idea how to deal with this. I mean, the way he talks to him, like Martian Manhunter's like, look, dude, you need to go talk to the kid. Go talk to the okay. And Superman's like, I should go deal with the blockbuster thing. Bye. As I've said many times before, the most interesting Superman stories are the ones that focus on the man. So, Bats gives them the "you failed, we're not happy" speech. And this will not happen again. That speech would have worked a lot better if you'd actually supported them and treated them properly back in episode 1, as I already complained about. And in fact, I've been complaining about it even more, except for the fact that Aqualad, really need to learn how to pronounce his name at some point, goes ahead and stands up for them saying, no, dudes, no, we're doing this. You gave us these skills. You gave us this training. We want to help people. This is not about ego. This is about doing what's right, which is the whole reason these kids were taken on as apprentices by the heroes to begin with, right? To do good. So congrats to them for having the balls to stand up to Batman. Which, I mean, right? And, Aquaman, and I forget who else was there exactly, and say, no, we're doing this. And then credit to Bats. Bats, of course, I mean, he's smart. It's kind of his shtick. So he's like, okay, you want to keep doing the good fight? Sure. You'll do it under our supervision. We're going to slot you in as a new team, basically. And you're going to have your own new assignments. We're going to assign a couple new people to you. We're going to get, what was it? It's Hawk Girl. No, it was Black Canary, excuse me. And I can never remember the red guy's name. I can never remember his name. He's in the DCAU as well. I can't think of his name. We're going to assign them to you. They're going to kind of supervise and make sure you're cool and report back. In short, what's more valuable? Letting rogues go off and do their own thing, or being attached to the rogues so you have some degree of control and influence over them? And I don't just mean that from a purely tactical perspective, although of course that's probably what Bats is thinking. Also from a moralistic perspective, it helps to add just a little bit of the safety net there. And it makes sure that you're not running at cross purposes. Because of the fact that now this team is working under League auspices, at least under the hood, they now ensure that this isn't going to happen, where they just kind of collide with each other and cross, if they're both researching the same thing in the different ways, right? It's in fact a very smart move, which then, of course, is even further emphasized. I actually don't know which Flash it is. It just occurred to me. But the Elder Flash, and maybe it's Barry, I don't know, comes forward and says, yeah, there's a reason we have these big targets on our chest. We're the big, obvious, open stuff because we can handle it. We are the big target that the enemies focus on. We need people who are going to be a little more under the hood, more clandestine. And I agree with that too. You do need people who are not wandering around being the overt and obvious superheroes. We'll see where that goes going forward. So then we have the denouement. Guardian is still in charge of Cadmus, which is funny as hell. But now it's a new, lighter Cadmus. So apparently, despite everything he really did believe in the project, that's hysterical. And then we see the Light, the big, evil villains. Funny fact, I actually did a rewatch just to make sure I was sure about this. Only 2 of the Light council members have talked, even though they see like 8 or 9 of them. Just interesting to mention. So, that's the intro. I suppose we'll see where this goes next time.